Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Alpha Storm, you've been killing it. I like to see that.
Yeah, I guess I'm here losing points again since I bet against Alpha Storm.
Wait, why did you say let's go food, but you voted for the Stoneblade deck? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Beartooth, that's what I'm hoping for. I don't want to lose points. Violent Waves, you're on... Violent Waves, how are you on food? Like, I thought you were like a jank kind of person. Like, that's what Black White Stoneblade is. It's not good. Fun hunks of shit. Voted for the wrong one. Unlucky. I need these points to buy a better deck. Yeah, you do. Yeesh. Oh, do we just have Grief-Ephemerate? No.
Are we just doing it big?
Oh,
Mama.
yeah, just put it on top of your deck. Sir, I hope Kegu calls him out for that not being legal. Like, you can't have that card on top of your deck. That's not where it goes.
Hey, man, it's F&M.
Yeah, I know. I think it'd be funny. Oh,
Yoink.
Yoink.
Good luck, buddy.
What are you doing? Taking all your cards to do anything. Team, let me tell me how brutal that was just now. Jackson goes, you just gonna leave him up, or?
Well, you don't want a spicy ticket, Skunky Pungus?
Yeah, Grief-Ephemerate definitely does need some follow-up. That's why I'm not a big fan of the deck. Is like, it has this crazy start, and then like if it doesn't do any, like if it doesn't draw well, or they keep off the back of this, like half the time it just dies. Which is completely possible.
My boy Jackson always has it, dude. Turn 2,
Yeah.
Stoneforge Mystic. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a turn to Stoneforge, then like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Ephemerate on the stack. No removal. Only one target left in the hand.
Curious is why we didn't play the fetch to scry with the bauble.
That's a good question.
Why we just did it.
Going for the bobble on the opponent rather than fetch bobble on himself to make sure he's not drawing into more lands.
Yeah, I was assuming we were just gonna do the fetch plan, but I mean, this also
Finale's a pretty good draw.
yeah, Finale's pretty good, especially as it's a reanimate spell,
Yeah.
which is pretty nice. Yeah, this is over. Food wins. We calling it already? Jeez. Don't make me get the spray bottle. The chat's been popping off since you've been gone, homie.
It's fine.
Basic Forest.
I'm not banning him.
So far, what you missed is Stoneblade
Grief-Ephemerate?
ripped apart Food's hand, and then Food drew Finale Devastation, so it didn't really matter.
Yep.
So they're going to reanimate Asmo here, I assume is what's happening.
Trying to figure out, probably trying to figure out if he
deck.
wants to please. Is it?
Asmo coming back out of the graveyard, getting a little read. Honestly, I didn't realize until a couple weeks ago that Finale even has a reanimate part on it. I always just assumed it was like Court of Calling.
So confusing what just happened. Here we are. Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was gonna just try to thin or not. But yeah, Grief doesn't exile the card, does it? I didn't think it did. Yeah, Finale's like $50. Yeah, it's insane. It's way more than it used to be. Chat, you might be right though.
We'll get Grief pulled up in chat here.
Grief program. Yeah, it just
Does
discards.
not exile, just discards.
Yeah. So this Dire Fleet Daredevil gets to just come back whenever they play this cookbook. Very good. This is what I like to call an engine.
And now we're doing it big.
Yeah, we're kicking it. Logan, I want you to know that as of right now, only one person has been timed out in the chat, and that's Taryn, and you're going to be the second. You know what I mean? I have way more power than they should let me have.
Grief beating in for 3 here.
Yeah, this feels like really bad. Like, that looks like an Ashen Rider in his hand. Go Asmo. That's what I'm saying. Did you... Oh, should have voted predictions. Yeah, that's what I was saying too. I agree. Is like I don't feel like they have a lot of follow up. Like when they just do the Grief-Ephemerate thing and then they just die because they had nothing else to do, and they're like, "How did I lose? I had Grief-Ephemerate." Like it just looks and feels so bad. Yeah. What the? Bayou. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to stream.
I think the problem with adding a third color to the Grief-Ephemerate package is it gets more difficult to have the black card in hand to pitch to Grief if you're diluting the number of black cards in your deck.
Yeah. In the current shells, at least, it's too many races for it to. Yeah, like I just don't think the payoff's good enough. Like sometimes it's like backbreaking. Like if this game right, he went turn one Grief into turn two, like turn one Grief-Ephemerate into turn two like Stoneforge. Like this game is getting pretty hard, but like this just looks not good.
I think if you do want to go Mardu for the Grief-Ephemerate package, you'd have to be playing red cards that are also gold. Like you mentioned Kroxa.
Yeah.
Pitching Kroxa to Grief would feel pretty terrible though, since it exiles. Kolaghan's Command is another card off the top of my head that would be good.
Yeah. Oh.
Easy.
Cast for Mass Mix. Yeah. Because we'll lower the consistency of the Grief-Ephemerate package and hitting early.
Those are words that have been said.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Uh-oh.
What?
I'll pull up the deck list here on my phone.
Well, I didn't know if that was a Declan. Still plenty consistent. Dreadbore question mark?
This is
Oh, you mean bone shards?
Yeah, we can look at this Mardu list between rounds, so we're not taking away from the gameplay.
I guess
between
at this point you'd have
games,
to do
rather.
it during like sideboarding, right? Because you don't have another
Yeah,
round.
we'll look at
Right,
it between.
yeah.
We'll look at it on the sideboard.
Did you put final round in the?
No, that was your job. You were
You're
in here when
my
this
seat.
started. You were in here when this started. Don't you dare.
Just put final round.
I know how to
yeah,
work.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't know how to
We got
work?
beef in the stream room.
Our mods.
Yeah, because mods can change it too.
Yeah.
Something else Taryn didn't know.
Is that two foods on the edge? On the edge, it's a construct token, which I'm assuming is a construct token that cannot attack this turn. And then a Mistress Bauble. Someone banned you. Okay, relax. Like, this is our account, by the way. I don't know why you're talking from this one. You're being weird. But, you know. I'll ban Apex Gaming and Esports. I'll do it right now. These constructs just get so big.
It's like Stoneblade having a tough time against Jund game objects. And there's the concession. All right, so let's take a look at this Mardu list here. Rocking 4 Ragavans, 2 Kroxa, 2 Solitude, 4 Grief, 3 Fury, Kolaghan's Command, 4 Ephemerate, 4 Fatal Push.
This is in Caldwell, Ohio, is where we're located. So southeastern Ohio, like
those are two
like an hour and a half to 2 hours south of Columbus.
Yeah, so it looks like we've only got 14 black cards here that you can pitch to Grief. I guess you can technically go up to 17 if you count 3 other copies of Grief when you're looking at what you can pitch to the first Grief.
If Alpha Storm says it's sweet, it's sweet. Sorry.
I mean, that's probably true.
It's just don't know what to tell you. Seemed like a fairly convincing game from the food deck. Like,
Yeah.
again, just like Grief-Ephemerate and to not do anything for the next 5 turns.
Yeah, a big part of it is how much Jund food already plays out of its graveyard. You don't really care too much about having your stuff put in your graveyard.
Kato Daz, thanks for the follow.
Oh.
Pedro82, thanks for the follow. I'm calling
Pedro
it.
with no A.
You mean E?
E, A, all of all
hate
the
you.
vowels. Where's it?
I hate it.
Oopsie.
Game 1 on the right. I'm gonna do this one.
Yeah,
That
I
one
know.
looks better.
That's the one I like to do too.
Grief-Ephemerate. I already answered the Caldwell, Ohio thing, but you know, here we are. Grief-Ephemerate in the Monkeys. It's a great time to me. It's sweet. No clue if it's good Lamau, but the deck itself is cool. I assume it's a good time, but I haven't actually tried it yet. Yeah, I haven't played like. Listen, I have refused to play these Grief-Ephemerate decks because exactly what I've been talking about is like it's just like Jackson was saying earlier. He's like, yeah, like TJ hates this deck because he was talking to somebody else and was like, yeah, because it's bad. I don't think the initial shell is bad. I think the going all in and hard mulling for like the Grief-Ephemerate plan is bad. But that could just be me.
So you like the deck list, but not necessarily the play patterns?
I like the deck if they weren't so focused on Grief-Ephemerate.
So you're saying if you're only playing Ephemerate because that's actually good with a lot of the rest of the deck?
Yeah,
instead of being
like-
all in with like Malakir Rebirth.
I voted for Stoneblade.
Yeah, I
but
like-
not so good.
My favorite deck that Grief's in is Living End. Those are the decks I think are dope with it.
Yeah, well, I don't
Because,
like
like,
the.
It's
You
crazy
benefit
how
from
many
that.
tools Living End has gotten over the past couple years between like Force of Negation and be able to just play like Blue Living End, and now you've got Grief.
Yeah, you just get the Grief
Like,
on the
see-
turn when you try to cascade.
Like this is
Yeah.
what I'm talking about, right? Like the Grief decks that go all in on like Grief 4 Ephemerates for Malakir Rebirths. It's like just play the 4 Ephemerates and call it a day.
Yeah, like
You know what I mean? Like don't go all
focus
in.
so hard on getting like
Yeah.
the big combo. Like sometimes just griefing something's fine.
Yeah, that's part
Yeah,
of it.
and
Although
Malakir-
this might be one of the situations where you're like, I'm glad we
Wait
have
for
the
it.
grief twice, but
yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, so this hand is pretty weird because like you kind of have to take the bolt so you get another trigger. So like you can take like bolt here and then the Darcy and then next
He doesn't
turn.
have to take. He doesn't have to take Bolt because he doesn't have mana in play, right?
Well, it's going to be next turn. He's already ephemeral. He's already done the Malakir Rebirth, right?
yeah, it's different. Like, yeah, he can't do anything.
It's just like next turn he'll be able to bolt it in response.
Yeah, if he had,
To
he's
the-
got like an effect.
Oh,
on
because
something.
it's not ephemerate. Okay.
I don't know
Right.
what's
I see what
happening
you're
in
saying.
chat, but they need to stop it.
Yeah.
Talking about Uro coming back in
Let's get that
Oko.
Oko back.
They all need to
Half the
relax.
combo is pretty bad on its own.
I think I feel about Oko or not Oko. I think I feel about Uro the way TJ feels about Kark Clan
You-
Redworks.
So you don't put yourself at a card disadvantage if
I
you
want it back.
ephemerate it, right?
I want it back bad. But
You don't put yourself at a card disadvantage if you ephemerate because you spend 3 cards to take 3 cards,
yes,
but you have a 3/2. So like it's not bad. I'm just saying that like the Malakir one, you're at a card disadvantage, right?
dude, my boy Connor hasn't said shit all stream and just says unbanned twin.
The mercy of the bonus not to-
He's
Yeah.
been on the unbanned twin train. We were talking about it last week.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I talked to you about it, but we were looking at the Discord, right? And Connor was talking about unban and twin,
Yeah.
and then all the arguments,
Mhm.
and then you were like, "What about it?" And then Connor brought up the removal spells, and I'm like looking through the list, and I'm like reading them, and I'm like prismatic ending, path, bolt, blah blah blah, and I see unsubstantiate. Do you know what that card
Did he
is?
say unsubstantiated?
Yes.
I know exactly what that card does.
Yeah, he listed unsubstantiate as a removal spell in Modern that was relevant. And I was
I'm
like,
not gonna scroll back to the
I was like, I have it screenshotted. I sent it to Brick. I was like, what is this?
That might be a
I
hot
mean,
take.
the best answer to beating twin is still abrupt decay.
Yeah, yes, he darn right I did.
He'll own up to it. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he did put unsubstantiated. I was like, is he meaning something else? Because I played that card in Storm as like a really bad remand.
Yeah.
Which means it should just go to Lantern.
Looks like
True.
we've got the Torpor Orb to stick, which means any ephemerate draws are going to be fairly useless unless we draw a way to
Yeah.
deal with the.
I'm not
Torpor Orb.
sure what the thing, because I'm pretty sure Jackson has Stoneforge in hand and he just didn't take the Torpor Orb. I'm like fairly certain he has a Stoneforge in hand right now. And let me tell you about cards that get bigger than Grief.
Well,
Dawn of
luckily,
Grief.
Grief has
Dawn of
mana,
Grief.
Yeah,
so
that's
we'll be able
true.
to get there for a little bit. In
That's
theory,
true.
another creature come down or cookbook. I got a Shadow Spear, which will make it difficult to race.
Yeah,
it makes it a lot harder.
that's an outrage if I've ever seen one. I want to see Jackson's hands because I'm pretty sure there's a Stoneforge in there.
Oh no!
Yup.
Is he gonna reach for his deck? Don't do it, buddy.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm fairly certain he had that on his turn too, so I'm not really sure what happened that made him not want to play it.
Are we ever really interested in casting our Stoneforge into a Torpor Orb? Or do we ever care that much about our 2-mana 1/2? We don't want to hold it for like Prismatic. Does he play? I don't know if he plays Prismatic Ending. I assume he does. It's probably good enough, just 2 colors.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He just didn't play land Stoneforge. I'm pretty sure that his opening hand was like the Grief and then the Flicker effect, and then land Stoneforge. But I just think he just didn't play it. I'm not sure why.
Drew the Cobrew.
I literally don't know what that means. I just can't.
I think I saw an Ephemerate in hand there, which looks pretty sad.
Team, who else do you want to see on stream? Because this might be a quick one.
Burial writes the draw for Stoneblade.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but Gold Medals OG, thanks for the follow. Glad to have you here. Trooper was really rough for Stoneblade. Yeah, true. My favorite, Logan, just repeating what chat said.
Are we able,
love
to,
it,
are we able
Logan.
to change Logan's name to Echo?
Reverb. Love some good modern paper gameplay. That's what I'm talking about. Come back Friday. There'll be more.
Bashing in with our 1/2 here.
Friday we'll have more modern paper content for you. Yeah,
Can't promise that it'll be
Kegel
good.
smartly playing around the shock to kill the Asno after blocking the Stoneforge.
Easy game. Yeah, like, I mean, this is like equip a Shadow Spear, bonk you. Like, this feels pretty rough. Come on, Brick.
Palcom Ovo 01, thanks for the follow.
Kind of
Good job, Lucas.
And like the card actually just hasn't got there yet. Hype Grief got. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
I mean, it just has to be in the right shell. Like Living End is a top
Yeah.
deck right now playing Grief.
Yeah, the Grief and like Living End made it cool. Yeah, people were confident we'd be broken in half. Yeah, and look where they are now. On stream, losing to Jun Food. Cringe.
My favorite thing about Grief is that it's the least played elemental specifically because it's not non-math colors.
yeah, true. That's just true. We even play like Caverns and stuff, and there's triumphs that exist, and we're like, nah, we're good. We don't want to play it at all.
Ephemerate acting as counterspell here. No value other than that, but could be worse.
I mean, that also just means it doesn't get to attack this turn. If he felt like it.
That's true.
Yeah, this is kind of seemed like.
Yeah, the solid subtlety, the blue one is probably the worst in a vacuum.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys.
I would say that the
out of
two
elementals,
best.
the incarnations,
Yeah, I would say that the two best are Fury and the.
Solitude, the white one.
I was gonna say the green one. I was gonna say Endurance.
I was gonna say the green and white one.
Oh, I was super on Fury.
I think Fury is probably the best
Yeah.
out of all of them.
Yeah, the only reason I was saying the white one is because it like creatures can't outgrow it.
Dr. Ligma says it's Fury and Endurance and it's not close. That's what I'm talking about, Ligma.
But I mean, I think the number one
I
is
think we
just
can
endurance.
I think we can all agree that those three are significantly better than Grief.
Oh, yeah.
And Subtlety.
Fury. Somebody says Fury, Endurance, Solitude, Grief, Subtlety, easy peasy. I could agree with that. I might swap Solitude and Grief just because I think Grief has more play. Like, but I guess it's really only in the Living End deck. Maybe I'm wrong. I could just be wrong on
I
that.
still think the green one's the best one
Yeah.
because it's just randomly a 3-mana flash, 3/4 with reach.
Chad, that's why I like you, because you're very smart and you come to the same conclusions because you're all good Magic players. I like to see that.
Blue one could have gotten there if it was permanent too. Yeah, Subtlety just it's a little bit too limited to be powerful.
Bunny comes in
Yeah,
here
I've
saying,
had
"I wish
people
Fury
ask
had
me
flash."
why I didn't do it to their permanent instead, and I was like, that's just not what the card says.
Here, Bunny saying, "I wish Fury had flash XD."